It's 10 days to Expo 2020 Dubai, connecting minds, creating the future. Thank you very much for joining us. You're watching NewsBlitz right here on ZTN, and these are the stories making headlines. Compulsory vaccination, workers, employers square off. Harare man employs 300 ghost workers. Failed coup attempt in Sudan. And in sport, football return brings Shamva to life. Now, Labour representatives in Zimbabwe have decided to give the tripartite negotiating forum a chance. The TNF aims to ensure discussions, cooperation and negotiation on social and economic issues by government, business and labour. Earlier in the year, workers walked out of the meeting accusing authorities of not taking them seriously. Zimbabwe Congress of Trade Unions President Peter Mutasa says among issues they want addressed, forced vaccination by employers in the private sector will be top of their agenda.
We also jointly want to look at the issue of compulsory vaccination. Remember, we've got a matter that is in the court. We want the parties to look at how we can amicably and effectively deal with that issue, where in our view we think that the minister must exercise the powers that are granted to him in terms of Section 17 of the Labour Act and regulate that area through consultation of the social partners.
Employers Confederation of Zimbabwe President Dr. Israel Murefu said the general trend among their members is that they are encouraging employees to be vaccinated. However, methods of encouraging vaccination differ from one company to the other.
But the majority are taking a policy position which says that those not vaccinated should be excluded from the workplace. I think it's the details of the exclusion which may differ. Others are putting them on leave, paid leave. Others are also putting some on unpaid leave if they've exhausted their annual leave. But I think the long and short of it is that companies or businesses are saying those that are not vaccinated pose a bigger risk compared to those that are vaccinated. So they would rather protect those that are vaccinated from those that are not vaccinated.
Regarding the actual date of the second TNF meeting, the Minister of Public Service, Labour and Social Welfare said an update will soon be given.
We are now waiting for the technical people prepare for us to meet. In fact, I need to follow up with them today to see where they are. We are waiting for them to prepare for a meeting of the full TNF.
Now, Zimbabwe has begun clinical trials for COVID-19 vaccination of children between the ages of 14 and 17. According to the Ministry of Health and Childcare, results of the clinical trials will inform the full-scale rollout of the vaccination program for the age group. Government in August announced plans to start adolescents inoculation. Zimbabwe rolled out free vaccination for people aged 18 years and above in February this year, and to date, over 2 million people have been fully vaccinated. Zimbabwe is listed among 13 African countries that have reached the World Health Organization target to fully vaccinate more than 10% of its population by the end of September. Spokesperson for the Health Ministry, Donald Mugabes, spoke to ZTN.
The Medicines Control Authority of Zimbabwe, MCZ, gave a conditional authority for vaccination of children. The condition is that the Ministry of Health and Childcare shall conduct a phase 3 clinical trial first before rolling out the vaccination. And the ministry is in the process of implementing the MCZ conditions. And once that is complete, the rollout will begin.
Zimbabwe's President Emmerson Mnangagwa has said the country is making significant progress in achieving the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals despite facing a number of challenges, including the COVID-19 pandemic. President Mnangagwa said this in his virtual address of the second SDG Moment of the Decade of Action convened by United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres. He said the country's quest to create jobs, reduce inequalities and end poverty remains on course.
In the case of Zimbabwe, successive droughts, natural calamities and over 2 decades of illegal economic sanctions imposed on our country by some Western powers have further hampered our progress. However, my country continues to chart policies, institutional reforms, and national priorities required for accelerated, sustainable socio-economic development and growth.
Moving on, the 2021 edition of the Zimbabwe International Trade Fair, ZITF, has kicked off in Bulawayo with an international business conference happening on the sidelines. 396 local and international exhibitors from 10 countries confirmed participation at this year's event, running under the theme showcasing the new normal for business and industry, realities and opportunities. Strict COVID-19 measures have been put in place for this year's exhibition, and ZITF company chairperson Busisa Moyo told ZTN that his teams underwent training to ensure that human and system capabilities are adequate. Moyo said ZITF this year introduced the inaugural diplomatic forum to stimulate re-engagement.
Re-engagement is very much at the center of supporting the initiatives and economic emergence to be a middle-income economy, and as enunciated in Vision 2030. So this is essentially ZITF providing a platform for conversations around investment, foreign direct investment, conversations around market access, conversations around opportunities for alliances with other countries.
Our correspondent Marian Shaba is live at the ZITF grounds to give us an update on the first day of the exhibition. Good afternoon, Marian.
Good afternoon, Monashe. Salibonani from the Zimbabwe International Trade Fair Exhibition Center. Of course, the 2021 edition of the Zimbabwe International Trade Fair has begun in earnest and it's running from today until the 24th. That will be this Friday. This year's edition is going to be officially opened by His Excellency Dr. Emmerson Mnangagwa, who is our head of state and government. Of course, with the new normal of social distancing, masking up, constantly sanitizing, we have less people at this year's edition of the ZITF, but in terms of exhibitors, our yesteryear exhibitors are well represented right here at the exhibition center. We will be giving you constant updates on the ZTN digital platforms. We shall also be giving you infomercials, so please do visit our digital platform pages. It's back to you, Munashe.
Thank you very much, Marian. Now, on a sad note, a 12-year-old girl who went missing in Zimbabwe's Mashonaland Central Province 2 months ago has been found dead. Her body was found dumped near Besta Mountain in Chamva, 90 kilometers northeast of Harare. Police are treating the matter as a murder case. The minor went missing in July after an unidentified man approached her while she was selling reed mats at Rothdale compound with her friends. The man indicated that he wanted to buy the mats and asked her to accompany him to his house, where he had left the money. The minor never returned and a missing person report was made. Mashonaland Central Police spokesperson Assistant Inspector Nathan Liwayo told ZTN that the girl's body was positively identified by her relatives.
Police in Mashonaland Central Province are investigating a case of suspected murder after a human body was found dead at the Besta Mountain on 16 September 2021 at 1200 hours by Mafteni Chigwenzi, who was searching for logs. A report was made at ZRP Shamva. While he stayed at the scene, Robert Mandela positively identified a grey jacket as that of his niece Alana Topo, who went missing sometime in July 2021.
Still with the crime and courts watch, a 27-year-old man from Harare's Glenlawn suburb allegedly employed 300 ghost workers and prejudiced his employer of about 25,000 United States dollars. Blessing Hove, who was employed by Goal Zimbabwe as a human resources and administration clerk, appeared in court today facing charges of fraud. It is alleged that from October 2020 to August 2021, Hove forged documents and his boss's signature on contracts of 300 non-existent employees. Hove, who was responsible for processing worker salaries, allegedly processed payment of the 300 ghost workers and converted the money to his own use. The matter came to light on 27 August and a police report was made leading to his arrest. Harare Magistrate Dennis Mangosi remanded Hove out of custody to 29 November. Now, climate-smart agricultural methods are proving to be the solution, especially during these times when climate change is sweeping across the world. Our reporter, Takuchi Hambakwe, was recently in Marondera and he caught up with an aquaponics farmer who is determined to expand his business beyond Zimbabwe's borders.
Over the past few years, horticultural farmers in Zimbabwe have scaled up productivity, generating millions in revenue. Fruit and vegetable exports to Europe, the Middle East and African countries have driven the volumes of revenue. Interestingly, these farmers are implementing climate-smart agricultural methods. One such farmer is Marondera-based former cricketer Yasa Parker, who returned home from the UK with the idea of venturing into fish farming but ended up getting into aquaponics. Aquaponics is a system of aquaculture in which the waste produced by farmed fish or other aquatic creatures supplies nutrients for plants grown hydroponically, which in turn purify the water.
We were initially supposed to do fish farming, and I was on Google one day and happened to stumble upon aquaponics. So once I saw that, it's 2 for 1, fish plus your fresh produce. Made sense to me.
Parker, who has a greenhouse, is using a quarter of its capacity, which generates $1,500 per month.
So from lettuce, we'll be expanding into pak choy, baby spinach, parsley, coriander, basil, cherry tomatoes, and your regular tomatoes, as well as bird's eye chilies.
Zimbabwe Farmers Union Director Paul Zakaria believes aquaponics must be adopted in rural areas as it ensures better yields and food security since droughts have become more prevalent.
Aquaponics actually integrates very well with integrates agricultural cropping programs and fish farming. And the two actually then feed from the source, the same nitrogen source, and it is water conserving and very efficient in terms of water utilization.
An added advantage of this method is that it produces organic fruit and vegetables which are on high demand globally.
And also we have got organic foods that we produce, and those fetch a premium, and they're quite lucrative in the European market. But also coming to the region, if you look at countries like Botswana, Namibia, even Mozambique, even DRC and Zambia, they've got a high appetite for fresh produce, and we produce that.
Besides vegetables, Parker still has big plans for his first love, fish farming.
There are plans to expand in the near future, not right now though, but once we get the whole operation up and running and it's taking care of itself basically, we'll then look to expand on the fresh produce as well, but mainly the fish for local.
Climate-smart agricultural methods such as aquaponics are more critical now more than ever in safeguarding food production as the effects of climate change are now becoming more pronounced world over. Takuchi Mbakwe for ZTN News.
Now, we all expect the life assurance company we are subscribed to provide us with a vehicle on the sad day that the big man above says it's time to leave this realm. But for 75-year-old Kennedy Magadzaweta of Sadza village in Zimbabwe's Mashonaland East province, it will be a case of even Stevens, a vehicle for a sad day and a vehicle for a happy day. This is after Magadzaweta last week won a brand new Toyota Hilux single cab in the Nyaradza Where and When promotion. An over-the-moon retired clerk in government, Magadzaweta, says he now wants Nyaradza to give him a VVIP funeral when he's done with business on earth.
Ndakaona maservices akabveitwa pane rumwe rufu nenyaradzi ndikana kuti ukavigwa zvakadai zvakanaka inini ndotarisa kuti ndichavigwa nenyaradzi vana vaona kufara kwaita pano ndichavigwa zvakanaka ini ndichavigwa saminista mavigirwa angu ini achasiyana nevamwe vanhu because izvi zvaitwa naMwari izvi saka ndotarisa kuti pandichavigwa nenyaradzi iyo mhuri yese iri pano inenge iriko Saka, you know, ini ndichaenda kudenga ini. Nokuti upenyu hwokudenga yeye anchagara kaupenyu hwemanga. Aiwa anchagara upenyu hwokungobatanidza batanisa. Aiwa zvatopera. Mukovheti muno Mwari achiita zvakadai.
Now, South Africa's Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs Minister, Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma, has gazetted 1 November 2021 as the date for the municipal elections. Gazetting of the election date means that the country's Electoral Commission will seal the voters' roll at midnight on Monday next week, while the candidate registration system will close on Tuesday. This will be the 6th municipal election held in South Africa since the end of apartheid in 1994. Now, Sudanese authorities have reported a failed attempt to overthrow the country's transitional government, blaming military officers and civilians from the former government of deposed President Omar al-Bashir. Sudan's Prime Minister Abdallah Hamdok said the attempted coup, which took place early on Tuesday, was an extension of previous attempts to overthrow the transitional government. As more than 100 world leaders and heads of government converge in New York to mark the beginning of the 76th session of the UN General Assembly, U.S. President Joe Biden has praised the United Nations for its response to COVID-19. He made the remarks during a meeting with UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres. Biden is also expected to meet with UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson. This comes after the signing of a recent security pact with Australia, which has angered France.
Thank you for your continued leadership of the United Nations through the pandemic, as well as navigating the whole raft of global crises and challenges. A strong partnership between the United States and the UN is based on common values and principles, and at this moment, those bonds are more important than ever.
Today, a stationery company up in China, that is M&G. M&G has developed into a global leader in stationery for school, home, and office use. We stand firm in our mission to bring joyfulness and efficiency into study and work. We offer an unmatched range of products at unbeatable prices. M&G Stationery, bringing quality stationery solutions to the people of Zimbabwe.
Now, for most communities, football is not just a game, but the soul that binds locals together. The return of the game means more than just competitions, but the restoration of way of life that had been taken away by COVID-19 lockdowns. Our reporter, Ntando Nsikani, caught up with some locals, and this is what they had to say.
Kazhinji kacho vanhu kana tisina bhora mekuti tisangane tichiwadzana semhuri semafamilies kwaitoshaika. Saka nguva yelockdown yakatidzorera kumashure kuti tiwane nguva yatinombofarawo secommunity yemaCentral. At this time I'm very happy ndakazvimirira, uye community yedu payakangonzwa kuti zvadzoka zvokuti bhora ritambwe resimba bhora, vanhu vese vari kufara zvisingaite. Zvinotibatanidza mucommunity politically, vane mapato avo akasiyana, vane machurches akasiyana. Kana yasvika nguva yekuti Simba iri kutamba, munoona vanhu kukoromoka vachiya kunhandare reWadzanai Stadium.
Tirikunzwa kufara neresumption of football yanga yakambomiswa because of COVID-19. Isusu secommunity yeshamva tirikunzwa kufara nekuti takange tane nyota nenzara yekuda kuona soka. Izvi zvinonakirawo community yedu nekuti vanhu vanofarira soka. Netimu yedu yesimba bhora itimu yanga yakutopa yatiri kutoziva kuti timu yedu inotamba zvakanaka. Saka nekudzoka kwaita football toda kutenda zvikuru. Dai zvaramba zvakangodaro kuti even nemaschools even yangodzoka nekuti ndo matiri kuziva kuti munobva junior policy yedu.
When we see such ventures taking place, and also hearing the government stating that sports are now coming back into action, it shows that there is hope for the country, and also hope for the team players who had lost hope in doing sports, and also thought that it was the end of the world, that they still have something to do.
Now on to some cricket news. Sikandar Raza hopes to see more Zimbabweans playing franchise T20 tournaments around the world. Raza and fellow Zimbabwe cricket all-rounder Ryan Burl are set to play in the Everest Premier League T20 tournament starting this weekend. Burl will play for the Kathmandu Kings, while Raza will feature for the Biratnagar Warriors in the Nepal franchise cricket tournament running till October 9 in Kathmandu. Here's Raza speaking ahead of participation in the EPL.
I'm already in set for the Everest Premier League. I cannot wait to be part of the Biratnagar Warriors. I cannot wait to be in Nepal. And what is really exciting is to be part of this tournament, and more so that we have Ryan Bull and other Zimbabwean representing Zimbabwe in that T20 league as well. Hopefully you all are praying for our success, and hopefully we'll open doors for more Zimbabweans.
And we end NewsBlitz on a rugby tip, where President of the Rugby Africa Women's Advisory Committee, Paulina Lanko, has applauded the work being done by Zimbabwe's Rugby Africa Unstoppable member, Abigail Kawonza.
Unstoppable campaign, I have to say, has been but a very humbling process for all of us here. And as I speak, and it's great to hear that actually the Unstoppables from Zimbabwe are doing an amazing job. I think we have two good ladies. We always talk about two good ladies, by the way, when we talk about Zimbabwe, and especially Zimbabwe rugby, because you've got Abigail and Abigail, and it's always, sort of a joke, and they know about it within the rugby space. And it's fantastic to hear, that they're doing an amazing job, that they're indeed positioning the game, that is giving them the recognition and the voice that it so badly requires.
And that's all we had for you today. Remember, you can stay connected with us on Twitter at ZTN News, Instagram at ZTN, and our website is ztn.co.zw. Stay with us. World in 5 coming up shortly.